You have to be a very good and usually very dead person to become a saint.
Welcome back to Kill James Bond. For our bonus episode, you know who we are, and we are talking about the movie The Saint.
No, you don't know who we are because we are all sitting here in a series of disguises. You couldn't possibly tell who we are.
Yes, on this podcast, we have Alice Caldwell-Kelly doing like a South African accent for some reason, inexplicably. We have Australian Abigail Thorne, and we have German Devon.
Hello. My name is Ignatius Devon. I was named for a saint with a big ass.
We watched the Val Kilmer 1997.
His accent is not better than that.
No. In fact, I'll just skip ahead. I'll just give you the drop of him doing the German accent.
My name is Bruno Hautenfaust.
My name is Bruno Hautenfaust.
Not
if
any worse
you've
than
watched the 1997 Val Kilmer movie, The Saint.
That's right. We sure bloody did.
We should probably talk a little bit about The Saint first, right? Because The Saint was this sort of mystery, detective character. He was kind of like Robin Hood. He was like this anti-hero. And he was in about 100 novels written by this one guy, Leslie Charteris. And then this was sort of this was adapted into a 1960s TV series starring Roger Moore, which was what got him the Bond role.
Indeed. Started out in black and white.
Yeah.
In 1962, because colours were still being rationed after the war.
Ran for almost a full decade. And so Roger Moore really
118 episodes, all Roger Moore.
Yeah, really sort of made his career on The Saint. And so every so often, because he really liked that character, plus it got him the Bond role. So he took an interest for the rest of his life in reviving this role, which means, give or take, every 10 years they try and reboot The Saint, this character from 1930s vintage adventure novels.
1920s even.
Jesus. So it's like trying to reboot The Shadow. But
I don't know, it works for Lupin the Third. They just keep doing that and get it again. And he's kind of like slightly similar energy but less of a joker. So the Saint in all his incarnations is like Simon Templar, who is he's like a master of disguise and a thief.
Yes.
In particular, the disguise, they really lean heavily on the disguises in this version.
Yes. He's like a gentleman thief. And what's interesting is we start this movie off and I start wondering, right? Is this how we're going to see current superhero movies in 20, 30 years? Because it's an origin story. And you kind of get the sense that everybody watching this movie, even in 1997, has some awareness of the character, whereas we do not. And it's filmed exactly like the sort of origin stories that you get for Batman Begins or whatever now, where you're meant to point and go, oh, that's that thing about that character, and they've just kind of nodded to that. But to us, who do not typically watch a lot of black and white Roger Moore mystery serials, it's just it passes completely by us.
Yeah, I've got no idea who any of these people are. But we start off in an orphanage.
Oh no, we start off in an orphanage with the best opening title. I punched the air when I saw this because we are starting in
God, me too, baby.
The Far East yesterday.
Ooh.
The Far East, baby.
The Far East.
So it's immediately unclear where the Saint character is actually even from, which I think is intentional. Also, the entire opening sequence, I think it goes 5 minutes without a single angle that isn't Dutch. It's all just slightly on a diet.
Yeah,
so good.
It's
good.
We get sort of I mean, absent all of the stuff that I guess you're supposed to pick up on if you already know the character, we get a very sort of like compressed origin story. It's like a really short, abridged version of Matilda, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much exactly.
Simon Templar is raised in an abusive Catholic orphanage in the Far East, where he is like given a saint's name, the name of Saint John Rossi. He's like assigned this at random because he's an orphan. And
his real name isn't Simon Templar, is it? That's a name that he's like chosen for himself.
He chooses it for himself based on like comic books because he thinks it's cool.
Choosing your own name? Based. Basing it on children's media? Also based. I mean, look, we've all read the Aragon books, and the Red Dragon is cool, and that's why I'm called that. So don't at me.
Getting into some really deep lore here.
Better origin story than mine, which is just that I grew up in Devon and didn't think I'd have moved back quite this quickly.
I mean, I just wanted, I almost kept Alex just as a unisex name, but I wanted to know when people were dead naming me. So I went for the laziest possible option.
Yeah, that's a real classic transgender move, is just the perfect gender inversion of what your name used to be.
So in any case...
And also the Alice in Wonderland thing, like, Anyway...
Drink me. So he's getting yelled at by this fucking big, massive guy.
Priest. He like canes him for not like saying his adoptive name because he doesn't want to like take that name on.
All the close-ups between the two of them, like it's a steady cam for when it's pointing at the priest, but when it's pointing at Simon, it's handheld, so it's a bit wobbly. It's actually quite well made, this first part.
Yeah, and then it kind of goes a bit weird. We see Simon develop his like sort of like thiefly roguish skills. Like the priest like denies them food until he like acknowledges his name, so he like picks the lock on the pantry. And essentially, if you've played the first bit of the last Uncharted game, you can just substitute in that memory here. But Simon leads the orphan boys into the girls' dormitory in order to escape.
He's not letting the girls out.
No.
He just wants to see one of them and be like, yeah, I'm out of here.
One of them called Agnes, who like has smiled creepily at him before. And so we know that there's like a thing there. And there's like a romance subplot, which is so weird. Like, I cannot stress how young these children are.
Yeah, I think they're like 7 or 8. I mean, I don't know children.
Yeah, but... so I guess maybe...
So he shimmies along a balcony, right, to get to her.
I guess you're maybe supposed to think that he's like, sort of like he's imitating the comic books that he's reading. That's how he's like learning to be suave or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Robin Hood, like it's like shimmying up the tower to see Maid Marian.
Yeah. And so he's like, well, I'm not gonna leave until I can kiss you. And this like extremely young girl is like, okay, well, where's my kiss then? And then they get busted.
Go on then, you big bastard. Where's that bloody kiss?
They get busted with a profoundly weird line read from one of the nuns.
We've lost some girls. The girls are missing. There are girls missing.
And
fantastic
nuns
line.
with attack dogs. They have like
they do
German shepherd. Like you will not escape the dormitory.
The priest who was like caning him shows up with 2 attack dogs on chains to try and I don't know.
I suppose to a child they would be quite scary because
I guess, but like it seems pretty explicit within the movie that like he has those for like child corralling purposes. They're not like incidentally scary. He's like,
oh no, he has child corralling dogs. Yeah, that's his.
And so Agnes is like in her terror thrown from the top of a stairwell and killed. She like
badly.
Badly, really badly done.
Yeah, there's like
my only note says LMFAO.
Single streak of blood from the mouth kind of thing. And already, this is 6 minutes into this movie, and I'm just like, okay, fine. Got 2 more hours of this.
That's all you're getting for free, you fucking piss hound. Go to patreon.com, kill James Bond for the rest of this. It is only $5 a month. That's £2.50 a podcast. Come on. You've paid more for worse.